The notice came on a Tuesday. Dane Ashford reads it the way he reads everything now. Standing at the kitchen counter, coat still on, like he hasn't decided yet whether he's staying. The document is 3 pages. The summary fits in one line: lineage classification, contaminated, port license, revoked registry status, suspended pending permanent review. Permanent review in Caldrith City, that means never. He doesn't call anyone, there's no one to call. His guild disbanded the week his son Kale's name appeared on every broadcast screen in the district. The rogue awakened, 17 years old, who destabilized 3 dungeon rift junctions and brought down half of Block 9 before the containment. Teams arrived. 41 hunters injured, 6 civilians dead, and Kale is gone. Not dead, just gone. Taken somewhere the council doesn't name. Into a facility that doesn't appear on any public registry. They needed someone to hold the story. Dane was there. He was the father. He had the same Bloodline resonance signature in his mana channel record. The council's chief registrar, a man named Vale Oren with careful hands and a careful voice, explained it to him in a room with no windows. The contamination was heritable. The instability that produced Kale's rogue event could theoretically propagate through any support mage. Sharing Dane's lineage profile was a precaution. It was a public safety measure. It was the signature on 3 pages that ended his life in Caldrath. The guild leader, Senna Crost, testified at the tribunal. Dane had mentored her. He'd run support on her first S-rank attempt, held her mana network stable through 6 hours of floor 72. When her channeling started to fracture, she sat across from him at the tribunal table and said the word liability without blinking. So 847 days. That's how long it takes to become invisible in a city that runs on rank. Dane works day labor at the loading docks outside the dungeon transit hub, the one job that doesn't require a registry scan. He eats once a day. He sleeps in a room above a laundry. The hunters who pass him on the street don't recognize him anymore because they stopped looking. That's the thing about a contaminated lineage brand. It doesn't just close doors. It teaches people to look through you. The way you look through a window at weather you can't do anything about. He doesn't think about floor 88. Everyone else does. The Ashveld Tower, a 100-floor rift structure on the eastern edge of Caldrath, has been stuck on floor 88 for 3 years. The council sends assault teams in on a rotating schedule. They come back degraded, mana networks fraying at the edges, ranking performance dropping 20 to 30% below registered ceilings within 2 hours of exposure to the floor's ambient rift pressure. No support mage can hold them stable. The floor's suppression field actively counters every licensed support class the registry carries. 41 attempts, 41 failures. It is the council's most public embarrassment, and the leaderboard timestamp, floor 88. In progress, 194 days, sits on every public screen in the transit hub like an open wound. Dane doesn't think about it. He loads cargo. On day 847, the system speaks. He's alone in the room above the laundry, and there's no dramatic light, no tremor in the floor, no crack of thunder. It arrives the way grief arrives when it's been held long enough. Quietly, from the inside out. A line appears in his vision, clean and unadorned. Ashfather Protocol, dormant class threshold reached. 847 days of lineage suppressed mana converted. Ashfather resonance 847 units. Classification, unranked, above registry. The Foundation, note. This class was classified and sealed by the Hunters' Council, year 312. Reason: renders registered rank systems non-determinative. Reinstatement trigger: a lineage broken by institutional action alone. Dane sits on the edge of his bed for a long time. Then he reads it again. The Ashfather Protocol is not a combat class. It has no attack skills, no damage multipliers, no offensive output the registry would recognize. What it has is a resonance field. A passive amplification substrate that builds on suppressed mana. Every hunter within range performs at their theoretical ceiling, not their registered rank, not their current form, their ceiling. The highest output their mana network is structurally capable of producing, with every bottleneck, every degradation, every suppression effect from ambient rift pressure stripped away. The system doesn't buff them. It removes every obstacle between what they are and what they could be. The council classified it in year 312 because an Ashfather doesn't interact with the ranking system. He makes the ranking system irrelevant. You cannot measure output that's operating at theoretical maximum. The leaderboard doesn't know what to log. The registry has no column for it. The reinstatement trigger, a lineage broken by institutional action alone, means the class cannot be manufactured. It cannot be trained into or bought or ranked into. It emerges only when the system itself does the breaking. Vale Oren's signature on that 3-page document 847 days ago was the key. The tribunal that took everything from Dane was the condition for the only thing that cannot be taken. He puts his coat on. He walks to Ashfeld Tower. He doesn't have a pass. His registry ID returns suspended. Contaminated lineage at the gate scanner. The gate officer looks at the screen, looks at Dane, looks back at the screen. Dane says nothing. After a moment, the officer steps aside. There is something about a man who has been waiting 847 days that makes blocking him feel like the wrong kind of trouble. Floor 88 is cold in a way that has nothing to do with temperature. The ambient rift pressure hits every hunter in the team currently staged. At the entry threshold, 8 of them, S rank and A rank both, standing in the yellow pre-breach warning light with their mana networks already fraying at the edges. Dane recognizes the lead. A woman named Eris Fell, one of the council's top-ranked assault specialists, has attempted this floor 4 times. She looks at his jacket. She looks at his face. She has no idea who he is. He doesn't explain. He steps into range. Resonance field, active, range, full floor. Theoretical ceiling unlocked for all registered hunters in range. Duration indefinite while Ashfather remains on floor. What happens next takes 47 minutes. Eris Fell performs at a level she has never hit in her registered career. Mana output doesn't spike. It simply stabilizes at a ceiling she's always theoretically possessed, but never been able to reach, because Floor 88's suppression field has been shaving 30% off every hunter who enters. With the suppression stripped, every degradation pathway closed, she clears the floor's core chamber in a single continuous run. The 6 hunters behind her do the same. Nobody's form breaks. Nobody's network frays. The floor's rift pressure, designed to grind registered support structures into uselessness, has nothing to grip. The leaderboard updates at the 47-minute mark. Ashfeld Tower, Floor 88 cleared. Assault lead, Eris Fell's rank, amplifier. The council's operations room sees it in real time. Vale Oren is in that room. He watches the unregistered tag sit in the amplifier column and understands with the specific dread of a man who spent 847 days being certain that he has made a mistake he cannot undo quietly. Floor 89 opens 3 days later. The council sends in a new assault team without Dane. The team returns in 4 hours, degraded, 2 hunters requiring mana stabilization treatment. The floor's suppression field is worse than Floor 88. The leaderboard does not update. Vale Oren comes to the room above the laundry on a Thursday morning. Senna Crost is with him. They are not in council formal dress. Vale has the careful hands and careful voice Dane remembers from the windowless room, but they are careful in a different direction now. The direction of a man who needs something. Dane opens the door. He doesn't invite them in. Vale speaks first. He says they need Dane for Floor 89. He says the council is prepared to discuss the terms of a reinstatement review. He says the word precaution again, which is interesting, because 847 days ago it meant something that went only one way. Dane looks at him for a moment. Then he says, full public expungement of his registry record, every line. Reinstatement of all 23 other hunters. Currently carrying a contaminated lineage classification in Caldrath's registry. All of them. Reviewed, reinstated, effective immediately. And the Ashfather Protocol classification published in full in the public registry, sealed status lifted, so that every support mage who has ever been told their lineage is a liability understands what the council classified and why. Vale starts to say something about a process, about review timelines, about the complexity of a public classification reversal of this scope. Dane reaches for the door. Vale signs it on the doorstep. He borrows a pen from Senna Crost, who doesn't look up from the pavement, and he signs all 3 documents on the door and frame of a room, above a laundry, while a man he branded contaminated stands and watches without expression. The public registry updates that afternoon. 24 records, including Dane's, reclassified. The Ashfather Protocol entry appears in the support class index for the first time since year 312. Dormant class. Above registry classification. Reinstatement trigger noted. Council seal status lifted. The leaderboard for floor 88 stays the same. Amplifier. Unregistered. The council petitioned to have it corrected, to have the column filled with Dane's name and newly reinstated classification. The leaderboard administrator reviewed the request. The column stays blank. Unregistered is accurate. The Ashfather protocol does not interact with the registry system. It never did. That's the whole point. The ranking system cannot measure the foundation it's standing on. Dane walks out of Caldrath on a Friday. Not permanently. Floor 89 is waiting, and he agreed to nothing beyond his price, which has already been paid. But he walks to the eastern edge of the transit district, where the tower rises against the gray sky, and he stands there for a while. 847 days ago, they handed him a document that was supposed to end him. It did exactly what it said it would. It ended the version of him the registry could measure. It built instead what 847 days of suppressed mana of grief converted into substrate, of a lineage broken by the institution that was supposed to protect it, is not a version the registry has a column for. Council needed Fey Foundation and didn't know where to find one. It was under their feet the whole time.